Hey guys, I just wanted to do a little check-in with my photography people and make sure that you're staying on track. So, this week I put in some videos that talked about our Instagram introduction assignment, like our practice discussion board, and then also our composition research assignment, that slideshow that you're filling out, where you're finding inspiration images that follow all of those different principles of design we talked about: balance, repetition, contrast, movement, leading lines, rule of thirds, all of those things, okay? So make sure that you're getting that wrapped up, okay? It's not supposed to be a super long assignment, but I've noticed as I've been checking things that people have sort of done either the Instagram introduction or the composition research, and there's not very many people who've actually finished both of them yet. Now, if you had photography just barely, like on Thursday or Wednesday, then it totally makes sense that you have not finished stuff yet. That's okay. You're not in trouble. But if you had class on Monday or Tuesday, you need to be wrapping it up, right? Because I'm going to be seeing you in just a couple of days, and you'll need to have finished your things by the time you come to class so we can keep moving forward. If you haven't turned it in yet because you're a Wednesday, Thursday person, you have until next Wednesday or Thursday to finish, okay? So even if it tells you you have a late submission, as long as you get it in before you have class again, you're on time, okay? So don't freak out. But the way that Canvas is set up, it's really hard for me to put separate due dates for all these different people. Looking ahead for what's coming up, this coming week, we will be starting to use the design principles in our own photography and not just looking at other people's photography. So what that looks like is I'm going to be posting notes for balance, contrast, and repetition that go into much more detail and have more specific examples than what I had time to do in class, or that I even had time to do on the video lesson of that same topic. Right, because the video lesson was just a brief overview of all of the topics. So I'll be posting those notes this week, and I'll be posting the assignments. So what does that mean? I'm going to post the notes for balance, contrast, and repetition. I expect you to look through the notes, and then depending on what day of the week you are, you may want to start on your own, but you could wait until we have class together. If you're an online-only person and you feel ready to keep moving forward, feel free to read the notes when it's a good time for you this coming week. So if that means you want to read through all the notes on Monday, that's fine. If you want to wait till Tuesday or Wednesday, that's also fine. Just make sure you give yourself enough time to finish taking the pictures you need to take. So, for example, I'm going to post notes about balance, and there's going to be an assignment for symmetrical balance and asymmetrical balance. So what you'll do is you'll take a photo that shows symmetrical balance, and then you would turn in a photo for that. And then for asymmetrical balance, it would be the same thing. You're going to go out and try and find a photo or make a photo that demonstrates asymmetrical balance. When we do a photography project, there's a pretty, in my opinion, and I would say in general, most photographers would agree that only about 10% of all the photos you take are actually any good, worth looking at, not just for students, for photographers in general. So if that means you want to have one really good photograph, your very best work, you need to take 10 photographs to get that one really good one. If you are trying to get 2 really good photographs, you need to shoot 20 photos. Does that make sense? Well, yeah, so 10% of your photos will, only 10% are going to actually be worth keeping and using. So for each of these assignments, I would like you to take 10 photos that are attempting to do each of these things. You're just turning in the very best one photo, okay? So does that mean you have to do 10 completely different photographs for each thing? No. Say I have this Coke can and I don't know, what else could be in my photo for asymmetrical balance? Say I have these two objects for my asymmetrical balance. This one is big and black, and this is like long and skinny, so they don't look balanced, right? If I were to set them on my desk to take a photo. What you would do is, if you're trying to do 10 photos to get one good one, you would arrange these in different ways. If this was what you were really interested in doing, you would try posing them in different ways, right? You could lean them up against each other, putting them down on the ground. You could, if you had finished drinking it and it was empty, you could tilt the can on its side and try all different arrangements of the objects, right? So the 10 photos do not need to be 10 completely unique photos that are not related at all. It could be 10 photos of the same setup, but you take it from different angles, you change the arrangement of the objects or the people if it's with people. But I want you to try out taking 10 photos so that way the one that you turn in is actually decent and pretty good, right? Because we're trying to get better. So, okay, so that's what's coming up this next week is you're going to turn in 4 photographs because we're doing 2 different kinds of balance. And then you're going to do 1 photograph for contrast and 1 photograph for repetition for turning in, right? But I still want you to take a minimum of 10 photos for each of those, like mini units, I guess you could call them, each of those topics, each of those design principles. Okay, so recap. Finish your Instagram introduction if you haven't already. Wrap up your composition research. If you haven't started, get started. If you're halfway done, try and finish it up. And then be paying attention and looking for the upcoming assignments and the notes that go with them. The notes are really pretty good. I feel really good about them. I just looked through them to double check them, and I think they'll be really helpful if there's a principle of design that you are not feeling certain about. So please read through the notes. All right, if you have questions, comments, concerns, hopes, dreams, whatever, please email me or message me if there's anything that you need to get clarity on your assignments, okay? All right, have a good weekend.